right, welcome to a very special episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we normally take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. But today on the show, it was just the Oscars. Did you guys enjoy the Oscars this year? Was it fun? Did the thing you wanted to win? I don't know. I'm recording this before Oscar weekend, but I'm sure it was a wonderful, excellent time. Hopefully you listened to our special episode on what we thought was going to win, and hopefully we were right about what we thought was going to win. I mean, we probably weren't. I mean, at least one of us wasn't, since me and Chris had very different picks, but hopefully it was a good show. And now that the Oscars are over with, that kind of means that 2019 is done with, and we could stop talking about these movies and look forward to 2020, and that's what we're doing now. It is February already, but everybody knows January is kind of a wasteland when it comes to movie releases. There's a few things, but not much. Now we're really getting into it, and so today, instead of a regular episode of Piecing It Together, we are looking forward to our most anticipated movies of 2020. Joining me are Clinton Freeman and Ryan Daugherty. You've heard them on the show a bunch of times in the past, and we have a really fun, all over the place conversation for you guys. And yeah, we're going to get into that in just a second. I do want to remind you to make sure you're subscribed to Piecing It Together on your podcast app of choice. You can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. Follow us on social media at Piecing Pod, and join the Facebook group Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where there will be plenty of conversations about all of these movies in the weeks to come. So let's get into this conversation, but one last thing I want to let you know. We actually recorded this a couple of weeks back, and since then, between Sundance and various other things, there have been so many more movies announced coming this year. So there's definitely a lot missing that I think the three of us would have all been including on our lists. But you know what? There's always new movies being announced. So what list of most anticipated movies is ever really complete? So let's get into what our most anticipated movies of the year was about 2 weeks ago. All right, so back on the show with us, we've got Ryan Daugherty and Clinton Freeman. How's it going, guys?
Hey, happy to be here.
Very happy to be here. New year, new decade.
Yes, new year. We got to get excited. It's always so slow to get excited about movies in the first month of the year, but we're trying. We're trying. Plus, it's early, and we're all trying to we're trying to get psyched up for this episode, guys. Let's do this. We got to get excited.
This is worth getting her up early for.
That's right.
Exactly.
We do important work here.
So we're going to be talking about our most anticipated movies of 2020, and we're recording this. It is January 18th, so obviously, Doolittle couldn't make our list here. It's already out now, and but there will be some movies that I'm sure that we're all very excited about that are coming out in February. Maybe like this is probably going to go up the first week of February, so anything's fair game once we start getting like deeper into February.
Which does change my list because The Gentleman comes out in January and Birds of Prey early February, so it definitely does change my list. But
yeah, both of which are not. They wouldn't have made my list, but I mean, I'm gonna see them both though. I mean, especially The Gentleman, I think looks pretty damn fun, but. Yeah, I don't think either would make my list, though. But that being said, this is going to be a long conversation, so why don't we just jump right in? Which one of you guys wants to go first? You want to battle?
I went first last year, so let Ryan go.
So,
Ryan, 10.
My list this year, I think I'm not actually going to be doing too much this, because, like, looking at my list, 70% of this is, like, vaguely apathetic curiosity. Like,
I hear you.
And I'm going to start with possibly so first of all, my honorable mention probably would have been Color Out of Space, which at time of recording coming out in like 2 days, 3 days, something like that. So for the definition of things that I'm apathetically curious about, towards the end of the year coming out, we have The Eternals, which is just like, I don't think I realized I was fucking done with Marvel until I realized there was 2 more I had to do this year. Like I've managed to like keep up the momentum for every one of these movies.
Uh-huh.
And then like Spider-Man Far From Home just made me realize like, oh shit, man, you're done with this. So now I'm gonna have to fucking watch Angelina in space for 2 hours. Angelina Jolie in space for 2 hours.
And Kumail's abs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just I'm just gonna space out and start at Kumail's abs for a year. So like I don't even really want to see it, but I just feel like I have to at this point. And like some of these other ones,
you don't
like
have to. You don't have to.
I have to. This is like me coming to terms with the problem that I have.
I feel
And
the
next
same
year-
way about this movie, by the way. I feel like I have to see it because we've all been sucked in. Even though the story is over with this whole Marvel thing, it's like
Yeah.
we kind of have to go along for at least the next few. And I'm very worried about the future of Marvel movies. I'm obviously not the biggest fan of them anyway,
Sure.
but my least favorite thing is when they go all spacey. And
Yeah.
this one's 100% that. And so I have a feeling I'm not going to like it at all. But I mean, I'll be there.
Yeah, I don't
so-
think this merits that much more talking about that movie, to be honest.
yeah, let's not give Marvel too much time on this show. Chad, what do you got for number 10? I'm sure it's not a Marvel movie.
Funny. It's related.
Okay.
So it's the long-awaited The New Mutants, which
Yeah.
is supposed to have been out, for 3 years now. So we'll see if it actually comes out this year. Sources that we got this covered say it's coming out in April. So I'm totally believing
I
that.
hate you so much right now.
All
How
right,
dare you speak their name on the show?
So
We get a fine from the FCC every time we talk about we got this covered.
So the New Mutants, not because I love Marvel or because I love the New Mutants or anything like that. That cast though, Anya Taylor-Joy, Maisie Williams, Charlie Heaton. It's just a great cast of young. They were up and comers at the time that it was filmed, but now pretty much everybody knows who they are. But yeah, I mean, from the trailer, the original trailer that I saw, I think it was 4 years ago, I was hooked by this movie. So, I mean, I'm totally down for it. So I had to have it on my list somewhere. So I'm like, you know what? I'll put that at number 10.
I think one of the reasons I didn't put that on my list was I'm still not confident it's coming out this year. There's still time for it to get delayed to be a Disney Plus release in 2021.
I'm okay with Disney Plus. It can get pushed to Disney Plus. I'd be all right with that.
Well, I'm going to go with my number 10, which is Scott Cooper's Antlers, which comes out April 17th.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks weird and dark. There's a creature in it. Gary Russell and Jesse Plemons. Scott Cooper, I love most of his work. I mean, Hostiles, Out of the Furnace, Crazy Heart. And this is definitely kind of a weird pick for me. I'm not much of a horror guy, but I from that first trailer, I was like, oh my God, I am in for this. It actually looks like, something right at the top of this. I'm going to say, I actually do not have any A24 on my list, but this looks like an A24 kind of horror movie,
Is it Neon?
It fits
Is
that.
it not A2?
You know what? Who is?
I thought it was A24.
Sure. No, it's not. It looks so much like one.
It's Del Toro, though, right? Didn't he produce?
Yeah, Del Toro produced it.
Okay.
Double Dare Productions. What the hell is that?
Never heard of that.
I love.
It's Searchlight. It's quote unquote Searchlight, not Fox Searchlight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
I love though, Dave, that you always say I'm not a horror guy. It's like you have to apologize.
I know.
You always do this. Just
why do I do that?
I don't know why you do it. It's okay, Dave.
I'm allowed to like a horror movie here and there.
Once or twice.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one as too. It does look like could be a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm actually surprised that I say A24. I'm sorry, that's just how I said it. I thought it was one of their films, so I'm surprised it's not them or Neon.
You only get to say A24 or bring up We Got This Covered. You can't do both. One or the other. All right, Ryan, what do you got for number 9?
So this one is one that probably wouldn't have been on my list until I actually saw the trailer, which is Wonder Woman 1984, which I definitely did a pretty decent about face on after seeing that commercial. I thought the first Wonder Woman was pretty good,
Watch your mouth.
not great,
Watch your
not
mouth.
bad. But my least favorite aspect of it is I'm not usually a huge fan of like the fish out of water elements, especially when like I had the same problem with like Captain America and that shit.
Mhm.
So like, hopefully I'm not gonna have to deal with as much of that with Chris Pine's character in this one. But I think seeing a lot of what was good about the first Wonder Woman while removing most of what I didn't like about the first one has a lot of potential. Plus, you put a New Order song remix in the background of a
Hell yeah.
commercial. I kind of have to see your movie. It's just a rule. Um, so I don't know that I'm gonna love this one, but I'm actually really optimistic about it. I'm banking on this being my new favorite DC movie by the time it's done.
All
Mm.
right, Chad, what do you got to say about that,
I-
Chad, Mr. fan of these
I'm
movies?
interested in this movie a little. So
It's a movie. It's coming out in 2020. It meets the criteria for this podcast.
I agree. I'm interested in it a little. So I think it's going to be pretty damn good. Actually, I think it's a great trailer, and I think they've got a good, like they got through the the important setup stuff and the other ones, and now they can really like dive into a great Wonder Woman story. Hopefully, so
well they've got to work the setup of the Chris Pine's character, but other than that, yes, they can dive right in. So
yeah, okay. All right, what do you got for number 9?
Yeah, this was one. I'm excited for Chris Rock's Saw movie. Okay, I have no idea what this is going to
Oh
be.
shit! I
but
forgot about that.
It's supposed to come out in May. We've not seen a photo. We've not seen artwork. We've not seen a teaser. We've not seen anything. But I'm curious. What is this going to be? I mean, Chris Rock, I believe, starring in it and producing, maybe writing even. But
I thought directing too.
is he? Oh, maybe.
I don't know. I thought so.
Regardless, doesn't matter. I'm sold. I love the Saw movies. I think that the marketing on this movie, it should be Chris Rock's Saw movie. That's what it should be called. It doesn't have a title yet. And like I said, there's been nothing as far as I can tell as far as information out there on it. But regardless, I'm super excited.
The thing about this movie is I don't like the Saw movies, but I saw a headline the other day. Chris Rock promises Saw 9 is not a scary movie. It's gory with a sprinkling of humor, which, I mean, that sounds right up my alley, So, so I'm not too far off on that pick there.
It's kind of what the Saw movies were, though, in a way. I mean,
I guess so, but I mean, they were also just, I don't know, terrible. But anyway, I'll move on to my number 9. My number 9 is one I just found out about the other day, and that is the Daniel Radcliffe and Samara Weaving movie Guns Akimbo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just looks like a crazy fun time. Of course, this was the movie that kind of became a meme before anybody knew what it was, with the picture of Daniel Radcliffe with the guns and all that. And yeah, it just looks crazy over the top, and I love a good crazy over the top kind of movie. Hopefully, it holds that up the entire time. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Daniel Radcliffe is great in those kind of movies. Like Horns. He really is a great actor. Super excited anytime I see something that he has coming out, and especially if it's something that's fun and exciting like this. But yeah, I'm totally on board.
He's such a good sport for stuff like this. Like he's so game, and it's great.
Hell yeah. All right, what do you got for number 8, Ryan?
So this is one I didn't know about until looking at my list about a half hour ago, 40 minutes ago. So I know almost nothing about this. There's a decent chance you guys know more about this movie than I do. And it's Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho. Baby Driver basically reinvigorated my love of cinema. So I am always excited to see what Edgar Wright's going to do next. It's never quite, I think, as groundbreaking as he gets credit for and stuff like that, but I always have a good time. It always grows on me as time goes on. So seeing him do a psychological horror movie, I think it's got Anna Joy Taylor or whatever her name is in it. So it'll be, and I think it's about time travel a little bit. So like maybe this is just gonna be the better version of Bad Times at the El Royale that we didn't get last year. And we'll do a 15-hour long podcast about that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not much about it other than super excited for it, and I'm probably going to continue to research it once this podcast is over to find out a little more about it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. It's higher up on my list, and yeah, Thomas and Mackenzie's in it too. And I mean, I don't know much about it, but I mean, it's Edgar Wright.
Well, see, I'm the opposite. I was excited until I saw Edgar Wright's name, but again, he's just not one that I care for.
Sure.
I don't know what it is about his movies. I'm just not into them. So,
all right, well, that's fine, Chad. What do you got?
We allow that.
Well, I believe it or not have a horror movie as my number 8. I'm not a horror fan. I don't like horror movies.
No,
horror movies are terrible. Bad people like horror movies.
You have to apologize before saying it. Yeah.
Everyone on the list, you always have to.
It's even a zombie movie. Anyhow, it's Train to Busan 2.
I just figured it was going to be
totally awesome, Korean zombie movie from a couple of years ago. Comes out in August. Of course, that's probably when it will, initially hit theaters. I don't know when we will actually get it over here. I would imagine, I think Well Go USA released the first one, so I imagine that they'll release this one, which had a theatrical release, because I actually saw it at the theater when it first came out, and then it grew like it got a following behind it, and then they re-released it.
Yeah.
So I think this one will. I think it's not going to be called this. It may actually have like it's one of those that's. I'm not sure how much of a 100% sequel. It's going to be more of a sequel in spirit,
sure.
Which is done with zombie movies quite a bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, I'm super pumped for it. I think that Train to Busan was one of the best horror movies of the last decade. It was definitely in my top 5.
Definitely.
So really excited about it.
I never saw that. I've heard so many great things about it, but yeah.
Oh, you've got to watch it. It's been on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it still is. I mean, it's kind of like gut wrenching. It has. I mean, it makes you feel so much. It's an intense movie. It really is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It made me cry the first time I saw this movie. It's just like so. You got to watch it.
All right, cool. Well, number 8 for me is Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yeah.
Coming August 21st. I don't really know what to expect, if it's going to be anything worthwhile, but I've always wanted another Bill and Ted movie, and we're finally getting it, and I think it's kind of the perfect time. So I'm excited. What more can I possibly say about Bill and Ted? I'm sure Chad is not looking forward to it. But
it's just Chad is it's all Keanu Reeves movies for the rest of this list.
Yes.
That's what you should really be apologizing for.
I'm not a fan of Keanu Reeves, but
yes.
Yes, you should apologize for this movie. Yes, Bill and Ted's. Okay, so I mean, this is the reason I don't like Keanu Reeves. I remember the first time seeing the first Bill and Ted's in the theater and just feeling so much like a fish out of water. Like I totally didn't understand what was going on. It was in a packed like $1 theater, and everybody else is dying laughing, and I'm just looking around like, what planet am I on? So anyways, Keanu
Chad,
Reeves,
what planet are you on?
I don't know. Keanu Reeves makes me feel like I'm having a panic attack. So that's my problem with him. When I see him, I don't know why. I just feel like I'm having a panic attack. So that is the reason. It's nothing against him personally. I just
nothing against him personally. It's just the mere existence of him.
I hate him. All right, what do you got next, Ryan?
All right, number 7. This is probably the one of these that I am the most confident is going to be awful. Besides, now I'm looking at this list. There's actually quite a few of those. But I'm actually going with the Monster Hunter movie, which is coming out. Because like It's been a while since Paul W.S. Anderson has fucked up a video game franchise. So, like, it's like the good old days again, you know. You get one Mortal Kombat 1 for every 9 Resident Evils, so I think
Sure.
we're due for something pretty interesting soon. Uh, I don't play the Monster Hunter games. There's no way this movie can be good. I just refuse to believe it
I
will be
wonder, do you know
adequate.
what the budget is on it? Because I don't understand how you can make a movie like this without an insanely huge budget.
I think it's decently big, but one of my favorite things that they're doing about it is I thought we as a universe collectively agreed no more video game movies that are like person accidentally falls into the universe of the video game.
Oh no.
Uh, and that's exactly what they're doing for this one. It's like a bunch of troops in like real world America fall through a portal into the Monster Hunter world, which means this game that is supposed to be about like using a sword to kill a dragon is going to be starring a group of Navy SEALs.
Oh no. That's like
And
the laziest, worst possible
right,
way.
Isn't
Oh,
isn't isn't what's her name though from the Resident
yeah,
Evils?
that's it.
Isn't she
That's his
the
wife.
she's
That's,
in it.
that's
she,
the director's wife.
she
Uh,
yeah, she's the star, right?
oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
of course, which gave me even less confidence in it. But here's the real kiss of death for it, and it's also the reason why I'm going to see it. Ron Perlman's in it, which means
Yes.
Ron Perlman in a movie like that is just like the stamp of approval of like you're at least going to have fun during this movie.
Sure. If this movie has a lot of monsters, I might actually go see it, and it should based on the source material. But otherwise it sounds like an absolute nightmare to sit through. But I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, it's one of those. I don't know why the Resident Evils. I kept going back to them because it's hoping that the next one is going to be good. Oh well, the next one will be
Yeah,
good. It never happened, and I saw I think almost all of them in a theater. So I'm sure I will see this movie. I don't know what it is.
the, the first Resident Evil has grown on me over time, like not as a Resident Evil movie, but just like as a movie. Um,
Right.
but you know, man, like I've listened. How long have we been in this year? About 2.5 weeks, and I've listened to the Mortal Kombat theme song about 30 times in the office in the past
Ah,
18 days. So I'm still hype on some level.
That brings up a good question. That Mortal Kombat movie isn't this year, is it?
I've been seeing posters going around for it, but I think it's 2021.
That's what I thought. Okay,
Um,
otherwise it would be on my list for
yeah,
sure.
it would
But
be on my
yeah,
list.
yeah. Dave was like, "Wait, I got to change my number one.
yeah,
Hang on."
seriously. But R-rated and fatalities, we got this covered. Told me
100%.
so.
Yeah, it's James Wan, so that's going to be insane.
Yeah.
But
Is he directing or is
next
he
year,
just
next
producing
year.
it?
I think he's
No, it's his movie. I do
Oh,
believe.
is he
Oh,
directing?
is he not directing? I thought he
Maybe he
was.
is. I
I'm
don't know.
not sure. All I know is one of my favorite actors is playing Scorpion, and I was like, I just don't need to learn much more about this movie.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
I'm in already.
All right. Well, this has been most anticipated movies of 2021. Chad, what do you got for number 7?
So number 7, change things up a little bit here. Here's a Sundance movie, Dinner in America. This is actually Adam Raymer, who was a Pollygrind filmmaker,
Oh,
who
Nice.
he made the movie The Bunny Game, and this is a little bit different than he was used to doing, I think, because he's a very dark underground filmmaker. And this one, it's about a punk rocker who's like running from the police, and there's a young girl that's obsessed with his band that's like tagging along with him, and it's their journey like through America. So it's one of those like road trip kind of movies, kind of peanut butter falcon type movie. And from what I understand, it was shot mostly in Detroit. So a lot of just like uh, you know decay and dying parts of America, I imagine will be featured. Totally, sort of a like Easy Rider kind of feeling is what I get.
Sure.
I haven't seen a trailer for it yet. but it premiered at Sundance, and super excited for it.
Sounds exciting. Yeah, that's awesome. Pollygrind filmmaker's got something at Sundance that
Uh,
rules.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, number 7 for me, back to back. Another one that Chad is not going to be interested in at all. It is Top Gun Maverick. I am not.
I'm not participating in this one either.
Yeah, okay. I'm honestly not, like, I don't remember even liking Top Gun as a kid, and I certainly haven't seen it since I was a kid. But Tom Cruise, though, the last few movies, I've loved everything he's been doing, and so I'm excited every year for whatever new Tom Cruise thing he's doing, and whatever insane over the top IMAX thing he's going to be doing. I'm excited for it. So June 26th, I will be there.
I like Tom Cruise when he's fighting monsters. He should have been in Monster Hunter. Then I'd be totally on board. But yeah, Top Gun. I don't think I will see this one. Not the biggest Tom Cruise fan.
Gotcha.
My dad has been trying to get me to see Top Gun since I was a child, and at this point, just kind of out of spite, I refuse to watch it. And all I remember is when like surround sound was kind of just becoming a thing for like home theaters and stuff. That was like the movie my dad would use to test out the surround sound system.
Nice.
So just for like weeks and weeks, I would hear like the start of Danger Zone kicking in, and I'm like, all right, Dad, I'm gonna go to my friend's house. I'll see you guys later.
Sounds
and
like the perfect childhood, honestly.
Oh yeah, no, excuse me. I was not grateful for what I had. I took it for granted.
No, you're right about that. That movie was used for that a lot because I remember this one time. There was like some ad in the paper for go to see this free showing of like some home sound system thing, and you get a free CD.
Yeah.
So we went with my neighbor friend to this, and they were demonstrating Bose, which at the time, like, nobody knew what that was, and Top Gun is what they played.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was definitely used a lot, I think, for the whole home surround system.
It's like when everyone was using Fifth Element to sell DVDs and to like show those like TV screens and stuff like that. Like sometimes a movie just kind of like falls in that niche of like you're just gonna see it getting played in Best Buy a bunch.
Absolutely. Well, what do you got for number 6, Ryan?
Okay, so this was a last minute change up that I made. Tommy Wiseau's Big Shark.
Yeah.
This was one that, like, while we were taking a break during the filming of this, I was like, shit, I bet that movie comes out this year, doesn't it? And I looked it up, and apparently it was supposed to come up in September, but it was not finished in time for its own premiere, which is always a really good sign for a quality film. I did look. It looks like there is at least a second poster up. It's got the really catchy slogan of "Can New Orleans survive?" My guess is that yes, New Orleans can survive a single shark. I don't.
One big shark.
One big shark. Which, to be clear, based on the commercials, it's big in terms of actual shark big. It's not even big like Megalodon, but it's just like large shark, basically. Like adult shark. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a Fathom events for it or something showing it in theaters. I'm sure Dave and I will do an episode on it if we can. Yeah. We did episodes on Best Friends 1 and 2 when there had been, advanced limited screenings for that. So, it's been a while since I've seen The Room in theaters. It's been a while since I've done anything Tommy-ish. So it's nice to kind of get pulled back into that world.
I'm excited. If it's a real thing, I'm excited.
Yes. The only reason I believe it's real is because there is a third person starring in it besides Greg and Tommy. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the actual, like, the other writer or director or something. But the fact that it's not just the two of them. Plus, we might get a weird Paul Scheer cameo in this movie. There's always a chance.
That is always a very exciting prospect.
Maybe he's the shark.
I was gonna say, as long as the third person is not Danny McBride, then you
Oh
can
my
kind
god.
of expect it to be
I'm
real.
trying to
But
picture him trying to play off of Tommy's energy, and it's just I can't visualize it.
What do you got for number 6, Chad?
well, number 6, I'm gonna go with a change up on mine too. I decided to throw this one in there. It was on my bottom of my list, but I think one of the ones that I have higher up is gonna be covered plenty. So I'm gonna go with the Road's Not Taken, which comes out in March. Sally Potter, the director, and it's got Elle Fanning and Javier Bardem in it. And it's kind of sort of it's a wonderful life in a way, because it's day in the life, father and daughter, and evidently he kind of gets to see alternate versions of his life,
Oh.
and probably how his daughter would turn out, that sort of thing. So, but big fan of both of those. So I haven't seen a trailer or anything yet, but just enough that Elle Fanning and Javier are in it. That sells me.
Right
No,
on.
that
Yeah,
sounds
good
interesting. That's the
cast.
first I'm hearing of this, but
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it either, so that'll be interesting to see when that comes out. My number 6 was Last Night in Soho, so let's move on to your number 5, Ryan.
yeah, so this is one that like I keep forgetting is coming out this year, and then I remember and I'm like, oh, that's probably gonna be good. And that's the new Dune movie coming out.
Sure.
At this point, I don't think there's a ton to say about it, right? Denny's he knocks it out of the park every time with everything he makes. Um, there's just every person in the universe is making an appearance in
Right.
this movie, right?
Oh
It's
yeah.
just like all of Hollywood got together and was like, yeah, we can clear some time in our schedule for this. I do worry that it's going to be like the like big budget drama equivalent of one of those like sketch comedy movies that has a surprising amount of famous people in it, where it's like, oh, we really just kind of worked backwards off of people's schedule and just threw together a movie for that. But I don't really have any nostalgia for Dune. I didn't read the books. I've never seen the original movie. I never saw anything about like the miniseries or anything. So I'm very cautiously optimistic that this will be a good introduction to that universe for me. And then there's a lot of space for me to explore and eventually get to watch Sting in his magnificent codpiece, which is the only thing I know about the original Dune movie is that.
You know
So.
what? I don't know anything about the original Dune movie either. All I know of Dune are the Westwood Studios games that came before Command and Conquer.
Oh shit! Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was like the
That's the
origin of
only thing I
RTSs.
know. Yeah, seriously. That's the only thing I know about that
So
universe.
So I saw Dune in the theater as a kid, and I thought it looked fantastic. I fell asleep, so it was a very boring movie. They actually gave you when you went into the theater, or they were supposed to, gave you like this little brochure that had like basically a glossary, a definition of
Oh
different
my
words
god.
and things in the film. And when we went to see it, we didn't get that, so we were sort of lost. But again, I fell asleep, so I did rewatch this a couple of years ago, and I fell asleep again. So I'm obviously not a big Dune fan. Again, I think Dune is one of those movies I always think of when I see like cool looking like desert scenes and
Sure,
Sure.
like the glaring sun and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of like Dune. Like John Carter's movie always was like,
sure,
oh, that
sure.
reminds me. But I'm not at all a big fan of Dune. So, I mean, I'm kind of curious, but not really, sold on them even having another Dune movie. I think one was enough, but I hopefully I won't fall asleep this time.
Like Ryan said, I mean, Denis has been doing so much great stuff, and it's like, it's always exciting to see him come with a new movie.
I
So.
I I loved his early movies. I haven't been sold on
Yeah, I
the
still haven't
bigger
seen
films.
Blade Runner yet, but Arrival. I still just like sit and think about that movie from time to time.
Yeah.
So and that was I feel like kind of his entry into the bigger stuff. So
What you were saying though about all the people being in it and everything, it kind of made me think of like Robert Rodriguez's movies, and I was like, yeah, don't want it to be that way.
I am concerned about that for sure. I'm still baffled that someone was like, you know what people would love to do in a movie theater? Read while they're watching the movie.
That's insane.
Like,
that is
that's
really
like
weird.
like that's like the equivalent of like we didn't have time to get the star to re-record some like voiceover narration real quick, which would make the movie make sense. So let's just print out some pamphlets that do the job for you.
That is so wild. Well, what do you got for your number 5, Chad?
All right, number 5. I have this is another one. A lot of these I have not seen anything on them, like as far as like artwork or trailers or anything. But this one is Enola Holmes, which has Henry Cavill as Sherlock Holmes and Millie Bobby Brown as his sister Enola, the main character. Just right there, you got me sold with Sherlock Holmes. You got Superman. You got 11. I don't need anything else, but I would like to see a trailer on this drop soon. They haven't set a release date on it yet, so I would imagine sometime late in the year. But yeah, I don't know if it's going to be more of like a kid kind of movie or if it's going to be more adult oriented or what, but regardless, I'm on board.
All right. My number 5 is Promising Young Woman with Carey Mulligan. Comes out April 17th. Looks just like a really wild, fucked up thriller, kind of almost dark comedy, and it's got the best trailer I think so far for any 2020 movie. And based off that alone, I'm very, very psyched to see it. I don't fully know where it's gonna go because from what I hear, it's gonna go pretty dark. Although that is pretty on display in that trailer. But I mean, I think it's gonna go even darker than it seems. And so yeah, I'm excited for this. I don't think I know any of the director's previous work, but it's still definitely something I'm really excited for.
Yeah, no, I'm on board for that one too. Yeah, definitely. There's been just a handful of good trailers for the upcoming year, and this definitely is one of the ones that's high up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually one that I saw that when I was doing my research like an hour ago, and I put on my I'm going to circle back and see if this looks good list. So you got me excited to watch the trailer now when this recording's over.
Great use of toxic. Let's put it that way. What do you got for number 4?
Number 4. I got the showdown that brings us together: Godzilla versus Kong.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't seen Kong. People tell me it's pretty damn good. I still haven't seen Godzilla 1. People tell me it's a movie. But King of the Monsters, we had the showdown. I think I didn't actually make an appearance on the actual episode, but I did the monster movie lead up beforehand. I actually forget.
Wait, I think weren't you on that one?
I thought it was.
Yeah, he was.
I thought
you were on. He was on that
one.
one.
Was busy. I couldn't remember.
Ryan doesn't know which episode he's on.
I knew I definitely did the top 10 monsters one, and I knew I was supposed to do Godzilla King of the Monsters with Chad. I wasn't sure if that ended up happening.
I'm not sure if it happened either, quite frankly, but
I'm pretty sure it happened. I'm pretty sure it
did. Right? Like I think we're all there. Like I don't I feel like I would remember more of the puzzle pieces we cited.
I feel like I would remember that movie if I had seen it.
The movie was terrible. Okay, so that's the thing. Is that's why I am not really that excited. I want to be excited for it, but I'm not. Sadly. So yeah, you were on that episode. I'm pretty sure.
I must I think I was too. But hold on, sorry, one second.
Listeners, if you're sure of this, why don't you write in and tell us and let us know? Yeah.
So no, I've just been. I find myself have been disappointed with all these movies so far. The Kong movie looked beautiful, kind of like Dune, but it didn't make me fall asleep. It just was not as exciting as I wished it was. And the King of Monsters was pretty awful.
It was so
we
bad.
can just say that.
Yeah. It was really bad. This is actually higher up on my list. I'll just let you know, but only because it has to be. I mean, it is Godzilla versus Kong, but I have no reason to think it's going to be good. Let's put it that way. Plus, it was just delayed till November 20th. It was supposed to be a summer movie, so that's usually not a good sign. But I mean, then again, there's probably so many effect shots that they have to finish. So.
Right.
But yeah, we will reconvene. Whether or not Ryan was on the last episode, I don't know.
It's gonna be like the editor's note where we're gonna cut into like future editing Dave being like, "We're all morons. Not only was Ryan not on it, we didn't do an episode about
Yeah,
this.
never happened.
There
Never
was
happened.
no Godzilla King of the Monsters. We're just imagining it."
Well, Chad, what do you have for your number 4?
All right, my number 4. It's a movie that was on my list last year. It's dropped a few slots. It did not come out last year, obviously, but it's supposedly coming out this year. That's The Kingsman, coming out in September. I love the look and feel of the trailers. Reminds me a lot of the Wonder Woman movie, and of course, it just being in the Kingsman world. I'm totally sold on it, so can't wait for it. Again, yeah, when a movie does get pushed, it's not necessarily a good sign.
Right.
But like you said, it could always be, effects and whatnot. But regardless, I'm not holding it against it that it got pushed to this year, and then it got pushed late to it was going to be earlier in the year. It was going to be in February,
Right.
and then they pushed it to September. So hopefully it does come out in September and doesn't get pushed to next year.
I gotta say that as much as I love the Kingsman movies, I think it's a terrible trailer. It does like nothing for me. But I'm still looking forward to it though because it is a Kingsman movie.
I love it. I love it. Like I said, it totally just reminds me of Wonder Woman. It feels a lot like a Zack Snyder movie from the trailer. So I'm in.
All right. My number 4 is a movie I know nothing about, but it is Paul Thomas Anderson's new film. It's supposedly set in a California high school, and there's not much else known about it, but it is coming out in late 2020. So when Paul Thomas Anderson comes out with something, I am excited, and yeah, my number 4 pick.
Yeah, I saw, I read something about this one. It's another one of those. It's kind of like he's kind of like Edgar Wright for me. I just don't. When I see the name, I know a lot of people. Their interest level goes up. Mine shrinks.
Yeah.
I loved his early movies, but I don't know. His movies. Although he did the dog movie, right? The Dial of the Dog.
No, that's
that's Wes Anderson.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I got people confused. Never mind. I'll just shut up.
Well, there's a Wes Anderson coming up on my list, so.
Oh no,
you could bring it up then.
Okay, good.
I'll probably take Chad's side on that one, though.
What do you got for number 3, Ryan?
I got Bill and Ted Face the Music as well.
All right.
Again, this is one of those, again, I'm not expecting it to be good. Nothing I've heard about it has made me think it's going to be good. But this one, I'm not just ironically putting it on there of like, I want to see what a train wreck it is anyway. Like, I want this to be good. I'm, it's been in the making, or rumored to be in the making for so long. At this point, just the fact that a third Bill and Ted is finally happening, regardless if it's good or not. I honestly don't think the second Bill and Ted's that good. So, like, it's not like it's going to ruin the franchise for me. So it really can't hurt things. Like, unless, like, the movie is, like, 20 minutes of, like, Bill and Ted just, like, punching, like, a small child or something. It's not going to be like, well, this makes the first one unwatchable now. So
that sounds
let's see where it goes, man.
Yeah.
Did you say that sounds pretty good? Is that what you said?
I sure did.
20 minutes of Alex Winter punching a child in a
seen
stroller.
Him in years, and then all of a sudden he just comes back to beat up kids.
We don't want to be in a band anymore. We just want to beat up kids.
they would. Here's the thing: Keanu Reeves could do that, and people were like, "Oh, he's such
Yeah,
a great person."
You're actually not wrong, Chad.
that's
It
why
would be
that's
totally
exactly
okay.
why I said Alex Winter's doing it instead.
All right, what do you got for number 3, Chad?
Number 3, another movie. No, absolutely nothing about. No trailer, no teaser art. There's a lot of that this year. It seems like The Tax Collector, which at one point was supposedly going to come out last year. Is Shia LaBeouf and David Ayer directed. And I've been reading it's possibly going to be a Netflix release, which I'm not excited about. But regardless, I am excited about the movie. I wish they would release a trailer, though. It's just like Shia's character, he's this all tatted up thug, and he is a tax collector for he's like a gangster tax collector,
Mhm.
from what I understand. So like he's I think it's sort of like a California like a crime drama. So
All right. Yeah, I'm always down for Shia, especially after the year he's had this year.
Oh
So,
yeah.
all right. My number 3 is also Godzilla vs Kong. So again, I have no reason to think it's going to be good, but to see those two on screen together, I mean, how could I not be excited to at least go into it and try to have an open mind? Ryan, what do you got for number 2?
So number 2 is actually really the only movie I want to see this year, which is not saying much about the fact that I just listed off 8 other movies that I'm anticipating this year. Right? But it is Christopher Nolan's Tenet.
Mm.
I am a basic bitch. Inception is probably my favorite movie. Tenet looks like basically the same thing. I don't know where I'm going to go with this because a lot of times with Christopher Nolan movies, I don't necessarily like them for the reasons they tend to be popular for. Like I just enjoy Inception as a heist movie. Like it to
Mm.
me, like the dream shit, it's cool, whatever, but it's still basically just the Italian Job for me, just in a dream. So like I haven't been able to fully understand the vibe of what Tenet is supposed to be like a normal version of, but with a twist. Like,
Mm.
I'm not even really sure. Like it's hard to tell how much action is actually being the final product. So I'm definitely worried that it's going to kind of fall prey to its own Christopher Nolan-ness and
Right.
get a little too occupied with being wrapped up in itself to actually like deliver as a competent like spy thriller or something like that. You know, but I'm still cautiously optimistic for it. I still have no idea what the fuck it's about. I thought for a while I wasn't gonna try watch the trailer, but I caved and watched it about a week ago. I have not really hopped onto the Robert Pattinson train as much as a lot of people have. Like I've heard he's like really turned things around and is like really good nowadays. I just have missed all of the movies where that's happened. So this actually might be like where I start coming around on him as well. I also haven't seen Black Klansman yet, but I've heard that Denzel's son knocked it out of the park in that movie. So I'm really
Oh yeah.
curious to see him in some more movies.
Yeah, Nolan tends to disappoint me, but I'm always
Sure.
excited whenever he puts a movie out,
Yeah.
so I'm definitely on board. And then, yeah, I mean, Robert Pattinson is probably like my favorite actor working right now, so I'm always
Sure.
excited when he's got something, something coming. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Strangely, I have still not seen this trailer in a theater. I saw it on my phone
Yeah.
once, which is not the way to really get excited about a
That's how I've
movie.
seen it. So I'm told some people who saw Star Wars in IMAX got to see the first like 10 minutes.
Right, yeah.
And if there's one thing, man, no one knows how to shoot something on IMAX. So
Sure.
that's gonna be like a spectacle regardless. That's a movie I will take time out to actually make it to the theater because that's like an endeavor for me, unlike Dave, who like has to make an effort to not go to a movie theater.
I can't wait to be disappointed by this movie.
I'm on board this one as well. Nolan, I'm not a big Nolan guy, but yeah, definitely the cast on this. John David Washington, he is exciting. Robert Pattinson is exciting, and also Aaron Taylor Johnson's in it as well.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I like the teaser or trailer, whatever it is. I like it. But I noticed something that since Dark Knight Rises, Nolan has something with putting mask on people.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know what's up with that. I mean, Tom Hardy, he has that thing of ever since that he likes to put mask on, but Nolan seems to do it as well. So anyway, I'm in. But yeah, Nolan, he's one. He doesn't disappoint me because I don't go in super excited.
That's fair.
That's smart.
My favorite movie of his that he's done recently would be Interstellar, though. So.
Yo, I'm still not sure how I feel about Interstellar, and I ask myself that question about once a week since I've seen it in theaters. I'm still processing that movie, and I still haven't settled on if I like it or not.
What do you got for number 2, Chad?
Number 2 for me, it's a movie that I'm kind of interested in. Would be Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman 1984.
Sure.
You know, what more do you need to say outside of Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins? And throw Wonder Woman in a mall, and yeah, I'm totally sold. A lot of the colors in the action does have a very Justice League vibe to the Wonder Woman scenes, but hey, I was happy with that. And if this is at least as fun as Justice League, then I'm good.
There you go.
I'm hoping for more, but hey,
yeah,
I'll settle.
All right. My number 2, I know the both of you are not Wes Anderson fans, but The French Dispatch, which has an insane cast. I'm just going to read down a little bit of the list here, but this isn't even everybody, but Bill Murray, of course, and Jason Schwartzman, of course. Benicio del Toro, Tilda Swinton, Frances McDormand, Jeffrey Wright, Owen Wilson, Saoirse Ronan, Kate Winslet, Christoph Waltz, Willem Dafoe. I mean, Elizabeth Moss. It's insane how many people are in this thing, and the last 2 Wes Anderson movies have been 2 of my favorite, actually. After the last few before that were maybe some of his lesser stuff, and I think wore a lot of people out on Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
But the Grand Budapest Hotel is a total return to form as far as I'm concerned. And then, of course, Isle of Dogs is a movie just tailor-made for me. So I'm definitely 100% back in on Wes Anderson and very excited to see what this one ends up being like.
Yeah, so he's the guy that did the dog movie. So yeah, the dog movie I did like.
Okay.
It was a good movie. So I again, I'm not big on any of those guys that kind of make these kind of movies. I for some reason I'm lumping him in the same category as Paul. What's his name? Paul Thomas. He's not the guy that does
he's not W.S. Anderson.
Which is not. Yeah, it's not the guy that makes Monster Hunter, but and he's not the guy that made the dog movie. But
there you
anyway,
go.
yeah, okay.
Well, we're up to our number 1s.
I just want to take a moment for everyone listening to this to picture a Wes Anderson Mortal Kombat movie. Just for a moment.
I want
I'm also kind of stalling because I really don't want to say this. I'm going to re-clarify. I assume you guys know what this is going to be.
Do we all 3 have the same movie?
It can't be. It can't. No. I refuse to believe. No. I hope not. I want to clarify for the listeners. This is not the movies I think would be the best of 2020. This is the most anticipated and the most that I need to see this, and it is in fact Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes.
Which, if you remember, was like my number 3 last year, and then it got delayed. It was. I did bring it up on the list last year, very high up. I believe I used the term "beautiful train wreck."
Yeah.
And I think that was before the trailer had even come out. And then the trailer came out, And I've never had such a viscerally horrible reaction to a film trailer before. And then there's all the I just man, like some people are like, yo, Jim Carrey's gonna carry this movie. I don't think any of his bits in the trailers have looked good. The redesign looks fine, but nothing else looks good. This is just like what the fuck, man?
It sure is.
And but that does mean it is the thing I am anticipating the most in 2020 is seeing how Sonic works out.
Look,
So-
I'm with you on this one. I don't have it as my number one.
I was gonna say, I hope you're not.
I have it as a special first honorable mention, but yeah, I'm with you on this one. And I gotta say, as someone who I don't know, with the way my brain works, I tend to be really loyal to people who have made me laugh in the past, and
Sure.
I actually love all of the Jim Carrey bits in the trailer. They remind me of classic when he was still making great movies, movie after movie after movie.
Sure.
And so
Never happened.
yeah. Well, I am totally on board with that, and I think the movie looks so fucking ridiculous, and I don't know, it could just be straight up terrible, but I'm with you. I'm very excited for Valentine's Day weekend to go see.
Is
this
that when
movie.
it comes out?
It comes out
Oh
Valentine's
God.
Day.
Like they chose Gangster's Paradise to be the song
It's
in
so
a
weird.
Sonic commercial. I just
So bad.
what?
Hey, here's the thing. I didn't see a problem with the design on Sonic, so I didn't understand the big uproar, and I don't understand why they redid it. And then when I see the new one, I'm like, okay. To me, it's the same.
That's kind of
So
the right
I-
reaction, Chad. That's
Yeah.
the right reaction. Nobody like it was like maybe 1,000 angry people on Twitter. Like that was it.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
It was
There's no
it was
reason for
it
them to do
looked like something that Mila Jovovich was gonna hunt in Monster Hunter coming to theaters 2020 in that first one. And now it looks like a cartoon character. I can deal with it looking like a cartoon character, but those fucking teeth in the old design, I just can't.
The teeth were the weirdest part of it.
Ah.
But all right, I think I know what Chad's number one is going to be, but Chad, why don't you tell us?
It's going to be Sonic the Hedgehog.
There we go. So, the emancipation of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Hell yeah.
No, my number one is Army of the Dead.
Mhm.
Zack Snyder's new movie.
Wait, are we allowed to
no,
do Netflix releases for this? I don't think I realized that.
They apparently, I'm being told they are movies, so we're allowed to.
Oh, I thought you were about to
even though
tell me
I
that it
don't.
was having a theatrical release.
I actually had a Netflix movie on mine last year. It was I did the Ted Bundy movie,
Right,
which
yeah.
wasn't a Netflix movie, and then Netflix bought it. So, and anyway, it's Zack Snyder, so I don't care. Okay, if anything is cinema, it's Zack Snyder movies. So yes, Army of the Dead is reported $70 to $90 million zombie movie. I don't know if it's a full blown sequel or a quasi sequel, but they've thrown about the word sequel to Dawn of the Dead, which makes me think that Zack Snyder's got a trilogy.
Ooh, I'd be down for that.
So yeah, heist movie, zombie movie. Zack Snyder. What more needs to be said? Again, no trailer, no nothing so far. And no official date, just winter 2020 has been thrown about. So hopefully Thanksgiving or Christmas, this will be the movie to watch.
Yo,
I'm not
I'm
as
looking
big
this
of a-
up now. Holy shit, I didn't realize it was like a heist movie too. This is gonna be
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah,
and a Vegas movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm reading the plots
So
now.
they actually shot it, I guess, in Atlantic City. They didn't actually shoot in Vegas, but yeah, it does take
I
place.
thought they
in
shot
Vegas.
part of it in Vegas. Did they not?
Oh, they may have, but I just know the bulk of it, I guess, was like an abandoned casino in
Gotcha.
Atlantic City.
Yeah, I'm not as big of a Zack Snyder fan as you, Chad, but I do, like his movies, and I really hope this gets a limited release or something in theaters, because that would be a shame for a Zack Snyder movie to not be in theaters.
It has
Oh
to.
shit,
Hopefully.
Hiroyuki Sanada's in it too. All right, you dude, I'm so down for this movie. Holy shit. I should be paying attention to the podcast we're recording right now, but I'm just on Wikipedia on my phone right now, and
Ryan just joined the Reddit for this movie, and he's just like getting in conversations.
I'm so hyped now. Oh man, I didn't know we were allowed to do Netflix movies. Thank you.
Yeah, I wish we could
movies
ban
are
them.
nominated for Oscars. Come on
Yes.
now.
Yeah, I don't like it, but
Academy Award winner, Army of the Dead.
And speaking of Netflix movies, my number one in a movie that I will riot if it doesn't open in theaters, and it was my number one last year. It is Charlie Kaufman's I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which will come out this year, as far as I've heard. It stars, actually, Brie Larson dropped out since last year. She was supposed to be the star. Now it's Jessie Buckley, who's amazing. Toni Collette, Jesse Plemons, David Thewlis. And it's just going to be a weird, creepy Charlie Kaufman movie. And I am so excited. And I guess I'm probably going to end up having to drive to LA because I have a feeling Charlie doesn't have the kind of pull that Martin Scorsese has to get it to actually play in a theater. So I'm dreading the fact that it's not going to open in theaters and everybody else is going to be like, oh yeah, well, that's awesome. I want it to only play on Netflix. And God, I'm getting angry at people now.
So is that's a Netflix movie too?
It is a Netflix movie, yeah.
Yeah, Netflix, man. God, why do they?
Exist?
Anyway,
they're killing me. They're absolutely killing me. But no, I'm so excited for it though. It's been so damn long since Anomalisa. I think it was 2016. It's way too long between movies for him. So, do you guys have any honorable mentions that you wanted to shout out?
I guess I will say I bumped the Bob's Burgers movie for Big Shark. There's not a lot of animated stuff I'm excited for this year. People like I'm sure Onward will end up being good, but I don't know. So I wanted to have something animated on this list, and I figured that like the Bob's Burgers movie was probably going to be fine. But with masterpieces like Sonic on this list, there's some things have to get cut, so that didn't make the top 10.
Sure.
So one of them that I believe will be out by the time this airs is The Night Clerk, which looks absolutely fantastic. I'm really excited about that one. And then, of course, Birds of Prey, and A Quiet Place 2. It was close to making my list. The Woman in the Window, Fantasy Island looks great as well. And Mulan, of course, which is supposedly has no singing in it, so it's actually going to be an action movie. And the trailers look absolutely fantastic for Mulan so far. That one was very, very close to my list.
Yeah, same.
And also the new Scooby-Doo movie, Scoob. I'm always down for some Scooby-Doo, especially since James Gunn is not involved.
Yeah, Scoob could be all right. I'm up for it. I love Scooby. I've got for my my honorable mentions, Michael Showalter, who I love, from The State, and Stella, has 2 movies coming out this year. First up is The Lovebirds, which is just a pretty straightforward looking comedy with Kamal Nanjiani and Issa Rae. But then later in the year, which looks like it could be like something of a big kind of movie, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, about Jim and Tammy Faye Baker.
Oh wow!
Starring Jessica Chastain and Andrew Garfield as Jim and Tammy Faye.
Oh, awesome!
Okay.
Yeah. So that I'm very, very excited about. I just want to know more about it, and I'm not 100% sure if it's going to actually make 2020, but hopefully it does. Right. It sounds like it'll be like one of those late in the year releases. Another one is Zola from A24, which I guess we'll find out more about next week with Sundance, but I don't really know much about it other than that it's a weird true story. And then last but not least, Fast and Furious 9, which the last few of these movies have been so unbelievably bad in the best possible way. So yeah. I'm excited to see if they can top what they've done in the last couple.
I'm like 5 behind on the Fast and Furiouses, and I know that those movies, the story is really important. So, I can't just jump in on 9 without catching up on the plot there,
Yeah, of course.
I'm evidently 8 behind. If there's 9 already,
9.
And a
What is this
spinoff.
one called? Is this just Fast and Furious, The Fast and the Furious 9,
I
or
believe so. Yeah, I think that's what it's called now.
a certain point where like, yo, fuck being clever, like just get this out.
Oh man, so that does it. I gotta say, guys, talking about all these movies, I'm a little more excited for this year. Like I was saying before we started recording, it's just you get through, the end of the year rush and all that stuff, and you just get so damn burnt out. And
Yeah.
especially with the kind of movies that come out in January, it's just like, it's you just get so damn burned out on movies. And now I think there is actually quite a bit coming out that I'm excited for.
well, I think 2019 was a really good year.
Yes.
I think,
Yeah.
It was.
of course, every year is awesome. I do know this, but
Mhm.
I mean, looking at the anticipated list I had last year, I know there were a lot more that I was more excited about. I think this year though there are still some to get excited about, but I just think 2019 it's going to take a lot to just reach the level that it reached. So I think anytime you have a really great year, it's hard to match it, and I think that's kind of where we are right now.
Sure.
I will say, of the movies I did talk about last year, the only movie on my list that I did not like of all 10 was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was my number 1 movie. So I'm a little worried about Army of the Dead this year.
I'm
Uh,
concerned that Sonic might not be a cinematic masterpiece.
It might not reach the heights that you once expected.
Quentin Tarantino presents Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, Chad, I'm not gonna entertain your Once Upon a Time in Hollywood criticisms right now, but I will say I have high hopes for your Army of the Dead. So
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that was my takeaway from this episode is I'm now super hyped for that movie because I also somehow didn't put 2 and 2 together. Like I love Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, and I didn't even consider the possibility that this was directly related to that one. I was just like,
I,
oh, he's making
I,
another movie in the same franchise, and didn't even think of it.
yeah, they were throwing around sequel, but I don't know how much of it is a actual sequel as opposed to a spiritual sequel.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I can definitely see him doing a zombie trilogy. And I mean, basically, with this one, supposedly Netflix said, "Hey, here's some money.
Do what you got to do.
Do whatever
that's a
you
lot of
want."
money for a
And
zombie movie.
exactly.
Look, man, if you're the guy who made Sucker Punch, at this point, you've done the whole someone gives you $100 million, do whatever the fuck you want with it. Like, he's gotten his weird bullshit fantasy movies out of the way, so now he can make good bullshit fantasy movies. No, I know you like Sucker Punch. I have mixed feelings on it, but like, I feel like we've seen what he can do when he's given a blank check to mixed results, in my opinion. But like, yeah, we know he's in his wheelhouse with these zombie movies already. Dawn of the Dead remake was so good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, I think that about does it. We will, of course, have you guys on. We already have a few scheduled with each of you, and then I'm sure we'll end up doing Godzilla vs Kong together. Maybe a second one too. We got to have these. These episodes are always so much fun.
Yeah.
Warning, do not listen while hungry.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Barajas, host of All Rice, No Beans, a podcast all about restaurants and the people behind some of your favorite spots to eat, where we talk about how they started, all the ups and downs, and my favorite part, the food and drinks. Ooh, and let's not forget about the desserts. So subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, follow me on all social media because I have the pictures of all the food. And if you want to be on my podcast and you're a restaurant owner or in the business, email me at allricenobeanspodcast@gmail.com. And remember, you were warned. Don't listen while hungry.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about the most anticipated movies of 2020. Like I said at the beginning, there's more that popped up since we recorded this thing, but there's always lots of movies to get excited about. We will, of course, be talking about them all the time in our Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces group on Facebook. I urge you to please go join that group and get into it with us. We have so much fun in there. And you also find out about all the episodes when they're coming out and everything, and get a chance to check out lists of upcoming episodes that I'm looking for co-hosts for. And so, maybe you'd like to be on an episode, and you'll know which ones I need people for, and that way we can get you on the show. Always looking for new people on the show. So, reminder to make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, make sure to follow us on social media at Piecing Pod. And also check out the other podcasts that I do. I, of course, co-host Bird Road, which has a live show coming up here in Las Vegas on February 17th at the Golden Tiki. And then I also produce Awesome Movie Year, which is now in its third season on the films of 1989, and All Rice, No Beans, a podcast about restaurants. And at the time of this going up, 4 episodes will be out, but we've got the next dozen in the can too. So we got lots coming on that show. So lots of All Rice, No Beans, lots of Awesome Movie Year, and lots of Bird Road coming your way soon. So let's close this thing out with a piece of music, as we always do. And you know what? I don't do this very often, but this makes sense for looking forward to our most anticipated movies of 2020. I'm also hoping to release a new album in 2020. We'll see if that happens. I don't know. To be honest, I'm so busy with podcasts. I don't know how I'm going to get to that anytime soon, but it is something that I'm hoping to do. If it's not 2020, it'll be in 2021 for sure. And this is one of the tracks that I've been working on for that album. And by working on, I mean I haven't touched it since January 23rd of 2019. But I will be getting back to it and finishing it because I love this one. I don't have a set name for it yet, so consider it Untitled at this moment, but I have a few names in my little Google Doc where I plan my albums out, and it'll be named something, and it will be finished up, and it will come out on a new album, maybe in 2020, or else maybe some other time.
and all points west.